Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Mufasa the Lion King. To change things up a bit, I figured I'd review 2 movies in one video instead of one. This way here, hopefully the video gets long enough where YouTube doesn't decide to turn it into a short. And sorry for the long wait, I'm just trying to manage 5 different channels at once, and it's not easy. Starting with Sonic 3, the movie stars Sonic, played once again by Ben Schwartz, Tails, played once again by Kathleen O'Shaughnessy, and Knuckles, played once again by Idris Elba, who are living their best lives with the family. More specifically, Tom and Maddie Wachowski. Tom, played once again by James Marsden, serves as the father figure to Sonic, as always. And he's always giving him life lessons. But when a new life form breaks out of a lab and causes chaos, it's up to the trio to try and stop him. The life form is none other than Shadow the Hedgehog, played by Keanu Reeves. When Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles fight Shadow for the first time, he absolutely millywhops them. But Sonic isn't willing to go down so easily, and tries to reason with Shadow, but to no avail. When the trio come across Agent Stone, they immediately accuse Eggman of being the culprit behind Shadow's escape, but Stone confirms that the Doctor had nothing to do with it. Stone then takes the trio to Dr. Robotnik, played once again by Jim Carrey, who is now in a mess. Apparently, somebody has been stealing his technology, and he's trying to find out who. Robotnik and Sonic reluctantly agree to team up to try and find the person behind all of this. They end up in a ruin where everyone except for Dr. Robotnik is kidnapped. Robotnik then encounters the culprit, who is his own grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, also played by Jim Carrey. Yes, when going into the trailer, I thought it was his dad too, but actually it's his grandpa. The two hug it out and they begin to bond, much to Agent Stone's sadness. No surprise, Robotnik ends up betraying Sonic and the trio. Gerald's goal is to get this key that will unlock a super weapon that will destroy the entire planet. Which kinda conflicts his grandson a little, because he only wants to take it over, not destroy it. Shadow is on Gerald's side because he wants revenge for Maria's death. And it turns out Maria is Gerald's granddaughter. And we even see scenes with the two of them together, and honestly it's quite beautiful. I honestly felt sorry for Sonic because even he didn't deserve that. Meanwhile, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles all go off to find the pieces of the key before Shadow and the Robotniks do. With the help of Tom and Maddie, of course. Tom disguises himself as Commander Walters, who died earlier in the film, in order to get past security. Shadow, mistaking him for the real guy, ends up striking Tom. Much to Sonic's rage, who goes into his golden form or supersonic form to fight Shadow. The Chaos Emeralds end up splitting in half, with Sonic becoming supersonic and Shadow becoming super Shadow. Sonic pins Shadow to the ground and is about to finish him off, but then he remembers what Tom said and he relents. After bonding for a little bit, the two decide to team up and stop the Robotniks. Speaking of which, Dr. Robotnik is starting to have second thoughts about working with his grandfather. Like I said, Dr. Robotnik only wants to take over the world, while Grandpa wants to destroy it. After some thinking, Dr. Robotnik decides to betray his grandfather and team up with the animals. With a lot of difficulty, Gerald is defeated and Dr. Robotnik, along with Shadow, sacrifice themselves to save the world. The world is saved and the blue hedgehog, the yellow fox, and the red echidna once again live happily ever after. Or do they? During a mid-credits scene, we see Sonic and the others racing each other until Sonic runs into some metal Sonics. only to be rescued by none other than Amy Rose, which I'm guessing is gonna be in the fourth movie. And also, Shadow supposedly survived. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was by far the best movie in the franchise, and I had a lot of fun with this one. Overall, I give it a 10 out of 10. The same, however, can't be said for Mufasa the Lion King. This movie serves as both a prequel and a sequel. It's a sequel because in the beginning it shows Simba, played once again by Donald Glover, going out to find his wife Nala, played once again by Beyoncé, who is pregnant with their second cub. Their first cub is their daughter Kiara, played by Beyoncé's real-life daughter Blue Carter. While waiting for her parents to return, Rafiki, played once again by John Kani, tells her the story about the young Mufasa. Oh, and as well as Timon and Pumbaa, played once again by Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen. Seriously, those two did not need to be in the movie at all. Then we get into the main story, which is the prequel, about a young Mufasa who is trying to find his home after getting separated from his parents. As a cub, Mufasa runs into another cub named Taka, who would later become Scar, and the two become brothers. Taka's mother, Eshe, takes a liking to Mufasa right away, but his father, Obasi, is a different story. But after Mufasa fends off a couple of white lions, he is in Obasi's debt, which angers the leader of the pride named Kiros, played by Mads Mikkelsen. And throughout the movie, Kiros actively hunts down Mufasa and Taka. Along their adventure to a land called Malele, they come across a female lioness named Sarabi, as well as a young Zazu and a young Rafiki. The five of them set off on their quest to find Malele, with Kiros and his pride of white lions hot on their trail. Meanwhile, Taka develops feelings for Sarabi and even tells Mufasa. But the problem is, Sarabi has feelings for not Taka, but Mufasa. Feeling angry and betrayed, Taka meets up with Kiros to betray Mufasa. And because of Taka leaving tracks for them, Kiros follows the group to the Pride Lands. But after a brutal fight between Mufasa and Kiros, Taka has a change of heart and decides to help Mufasa, and he gets his scar as a result. When Kiros is eventually defeated, Mufasa becomes the new king of Malele, and all Taka becomes is Scar. As a fan of the Lion King films, I really wanted to give this movie a chance. They made Mufasa into a complete jerk and Scar into a tragic villain, which he kinda already was if you think about it. Overall, I give this film a 4 out of 10.